All set? What are you doing? I said put leathers on. Leathers. We're doing Mad Max, not Mad Marines. Duh. I got all dressed up as well. Wait, did you not get the memo? Did it get lost by the Wasteland Postal Service? Moron. Hey folks, ignore him. Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? We're all doing very, very well. Folks, he's not an idiot. He's not a moron. He's got dressed up for a video that's coming later on. But this one's kind of nudged its way in front. Because overnight, in fact at midnight, the stroke of 12 bells at midnight, the new score for Furiosa from Tom Holkenborg dropped. And Kilt-Man got it. And Kilt-Man listened to it into the wee small hours. I heard it 2, maybe 3 times. And now I'm going to review it for you. Mad Max, Furiosa, and Mad Max Saga. Yes, it's been shown at Cannes, out of competition, for the fans at Cannes. And if you're like me, you've read dozens, if not hundreds of reviews of it already. And some are absolutely ecstatic. It's the best thing since Mad Max Fury Road. And others are like, well, yeah, it's good, but it's not as good as Fury Road. But everyone seems to be unanimous in that it's still very, very good. And it's a worthy entry in the Mad Max franchise from George Miller. And it sits right alongside Fury Road. I mean, visually, it clearly fits right in. And story-wise, it's the prequel to Fury Road. It's the origin story of Furiosa herself, the Imperator Furiosa, working for Immortan Joe, and then turns her back on him, nicks his brides, and tries to get back to the Greenland. No, not Greenland, but the green place. You know, or the place of many mothers, where she sprung from, which was once an Eden-like paradise, but has since turned into just a horrible, turgid, swampy deluge of nothingness. So, big anticlimax for poor Furiosa. Now, George Miller is doing not just Furiosa, but also doing The Wasteland. It's still currently called The Wasteland, which is going to be Mad Max's story before the events of Fury Road. Because Fury Road is the culmination of the entire lot. We've already seen how it concludes. That's the end. If he can still find time in his latter years, George Miller was still, providing these 2 films are going to be a big success, I think that's pretty much guaranteed, he might do other little offshoots, but the Mad Max and Furiosa sagas will have come to their conclusion with Fury Road. So this is Furiosa's story, but you're going to get Max's story in the events leading up to him meeting Furiosa. Although before you all say it, yes, as I foretold way back when I first started doing videos on Furiosa, Max is in this movie. No, not Mel Gibson. And by the way, George Miller has also pretty much ruled out Mel Gibson ever coming back into any later installments. He said there will be no old Max story. Which we kind of all thought there would be, which would have really worked as well, because Gibbo could still do the action stuff. Look, he looks nice and grizzled, and he still looks uber cool. But no, George Miller said, no, ain't gonna happen. He said, I've never envisaged Max as an old man. It's not in my psyche. It's not in all the stories I've written to do with this, the Wasteland and post-apocalyptic Mad Max universe. He's never been an old man. So I can't visualise it, and I don't imagine ever getting Mel Gibson back, so it's not going to happen. Now, nor is Tom Hardy in this movie. So who is Max then? Well, it's Tom Hardy's stunt double from Fury Road. That's who it is. And he is in it in a blink and you'll miss it scene. I know what it is. Anyway, but I'm not going to give any spoilers away. Although we are going to discuss this score from Tom Holkenborg. And yeah, the film is looking amazing. Visually, it sits right in the same universe as Fury Road. The same colour scheme, the same hyperkinetic action, the same amount of bizarre characters. Dr. Dementus, oh my god, Chris Hemsworth with the big hooter, the big conch, and it's mad sort of gruff outback accents. You know, I think it's ideal. I can't wait. I've seen quite a bit of footage of this movie now, alongside all the gazillion TV spots. We've had the 3 trailers and I've loved them all. I love all the TV spots. And there is extra footage out there should you choose to go and find it, which sadly is a lot of spoilers is contained within that footage. But if you've been following this, then there's no spoilers in it because you knew all that anyway. But viewer discretion. And that's just for this video. Oh, save it. I'm just here for the whiskey. So you're hearing Tom Holkenborg'S score right now. And he did a score under his previous name of Junkie XL for Fury Road. This fits totally in that Sonic universe. But it's different in other ways. Whereas Fury Road was almost relentless in its action and its pulse-pounding, musical, vehicular depiction of violence and carnage and crashes and explosions, and the score was just this endless propulsive momentum. That is not the case with this. Oh, those elements are there, but they're not in abundance. Like in Fury Road, you had Brothers in Arms, which is a modern classic action anthem now. You had Chapter Doof, which is incredible, high octane stuff, just builds and builds and builds, thrills and spills, and it's just glorious. You've got nothing like them in this. There's bits of build up and excitement and carnage, but for a film that's, I don't know, is it 2 hours, 25 minutes? It's certainly longer than Fury Road. And the original album for Fury Road, well, it's got lots of extended tracks on it anyway. So you pretty much got all the music on Fury Road. This album for the longer movie only lasts 70 minutes. And I do get the impression that there's bits missed off here. I do. A lot of these cues, everything here, and you're going to hear this throughout this dissection, it's build, build, build. The most I can liken it to is the sequence or the track called The Bog in Fury Road on that score, which they get bogged down. Immortan Joe's forces are coming up. Max will lay explosives and delay them, but the bullet farmer will explode onwards, and they're trying to get the war rig going with that thing out there. That thing, it's called a tree. Yeah, the tree thing. All of that sequence has this sort of metronomic, almost John Carpenter-esque dun, 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 build up. So many cues, tracks in this score have that rhythm, dun, 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 or even a sort of doubled up, dun, 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 dun. And you keep thinking, well, it's going to kick into you know Top Gear, but it doesn't. And yet the soundscape is very, very similar. I mean, it's perfectly similar to Fury Road. So the two scores fit totally together. Okay, now you do have some dialogue. In the opening track, the Pole of Inaccessibility has some dialogue, and the epilogue has some dialogue. I will not play the epilogue because that will give hints to the demise of a certain character. So I'm not going to do that. See, I can be prudent and diplomatic. And you watchers, I forget, and the whole thing just plays through, and then suddenly you hear it, and I'll be going, "Oh no!" Yes, and you'll have the last laugh, won't you? Cheers, y'all. Do excuse me. My wife, Mrs. Kilt-Man, passed on a cold to me at the start of the week. A cold which she basically got it, had a sneeze, had a bit of a cough, got a sore throat, but within 5 minutes, she'd shrugged it off onto me. It's now Friday. I've still got it. I've still got a ragged sore throat and this dry, raspy cough. Maybe it's the sand from the Wasteland. It's clogging up, I don't know. Best drink some more of this then. Okay, you can hear this. This is a track called You Are Awaited. And you know this because this theme is definitely in Fury Road. And And you will get another couple of themes which you'll recognise. And I like the way they've done this, well, what Tom's done. Because this story, this film, is a prequel to Fury Road. So it's almost like he said, okay, some of the themes that we've used in Fury Road, well, we're going to show the origin of those themes. So you don't get the full thing that you hear in Fury Road, but you get like bits of it, almost like it's evolving into what you would hear in the later movie, or rather the earlier movie. And I like that. So you heard that bit there, which is one of the main themes from Fury Road, but you only get snippets of it. You recognise it, you're like, oh yes, it's coming again. But they're almost like smaller, more primitive versions. Anyway, there's some good instrumentation involved in this. This is filmed in Australia, like the original 3 movies, but unlike Fury Road, which was shot in Namibia. And damn you, Mrs. Kilt-Man! Oh, what have you done to me? And because it's Australia, he's brought in the didgeridoo. He's brought in the bull roarer. You know what the bull roarer is, don't you? That's an Aboriginal indigenous instrument on a big twine, like a whistle, and you curl it around above your head, and when the wind gets into it, it makes this really eerie whistling, wailing noise. You've got that in here. So you've got the didgeridoo as well, but you've also got something which is not Australian. In fact, it's Armenian. The duduk. The duduk, which is a woodwind instrument, and it has a very primal, melancholy, again, wind-driven sort of sound. And you'll recognise that. Like, when I first listened to this, I thought, hang on a minute, this reminds me, it doesn't sound like, but it reminds me of Hans Zimmer's score for Gladiator. Now, for that score, he brought in the duduk. So, yeah, I can hear the similarities. Now, there are tracks which highlight this. Let's just see. I'm not sure whereabouts in the track, but we'll play it. This is an early track called The Promise. I mean, no, Fury Road, the film, and its score are relentless because it's just a non-stop chase. That's basically all it is. That's the duduk. But the didgeridoo has a sort of similar sound, but it's far deeper, far more bellicose, and far more identifiable. That's the duduk there. Oh, I do apologise, folks. This was not what I intended. So, Fury Road is a chase movie, so the music follows that. It's relentless action, 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 with just a few little pensive moments in between. This is action aplenty, but it's not a chase movie from start to finish. It tells Furiosa's story from a younger girl to Anya Taylor-Joy playing the younger version of Charlize Theron, who's somewhere behind me here. Yes, there she is. There she is. Climbing on top of Tom Hardy there, which is weird because the two did not get along at all. They really didn't get along. And she's only got about 30 lines of dialogue, has Anya Taylor-Joy. Listen. But as George Miller says, I hate dialogue. I don't like dialogue in movies. If you look at his Mad Max movies, apart from the first one, there's hardly any dialogue at all. There's not a great deal of spoken stuff. What is spoken is marvellous and clever and weird and wacky. But with all this new religions and cults and societies and twisted, broken sort of mythology. But he said dialogue slows a movie down. But this movie might be sort of, I don't want to use the word disjointed, but it is sort of chapterized, it is segmented. It does tell the evolution of the character. Her kidnapping from all the mothers by Dr. Dementus and his biker horde. Her subsequent escape from him and drive towards Immortan Joe. And Dementus is a horde attacking the Citadel. They want the Citadel. Immortan Joe's got that. What I don't know is, do they tell anything of Immortan Joe's background? We know in the comics that he was a military leader. Oh, am I going to make it through this video? I don't know, folks. By the grace of God and by the power of fire water, cheers y'all, I will survive, I will persevere. I mean, I hope you get some of that. I don't know for a fact if you do. You might hear some of that be told in sort of exposition or whatever. But he was a military leader, and in the water and oil wars, and with his ragtag bunch of mercenaries who were loyal to him, he launches a huge attack on the Citadel, and he almost dies in the process. Loses a lot of men, but because he does actually take over the Citadel, they call him Immortan Joe, because he didn't die. But we saw him. How could he survive? He's the Immortan Joe. He's not very well. He's got that big breathing apparatus and old tubes and stuff like. But you know, he ain't doing so well, is he? But a great character. Hugh Keys-Byrne, the original toe cutter from 1979's Mad Max. A great character, fabulous character. When he's harassing Jessie, who is Max's wife, Max Rokotansky. Maximilian Rokotansky. What an absolutely bizarre name to come up with. But anyway, when they harass her, they're out by the beach, and she's bought ice cream for herself and the Sprog, their kid, and she gets harassed by the toe cutter and his gang. And he's like, grabs her face, you know, it's a lovely face, Jessie, but if you should lose the face. He's brilliant, and he's brilliant as Immortan Joe. Obviously, he is not playing Immortan Joe in this movie because, sadly, Hughes died. As has the guy that played the Bullet Farmer, and we will be introduced to the Bullet Farm and in depth, a big, massive action sequence at the Bullet Farm. And you're going to see Gastown as well. That's the big, bloaty guy with the big fat feet and all that. It's just crazy, crazy stuff. So, you've got a lot of these obviously sort of elongated sequences of just, where are we, what's happening, what is this madness? And Tom Holkenborg'S, you know, illustrated that with these pensive, bizarre, eerie sort of sequences. There's a fair bit of reverb and fuzziness on a couple of tracks, which I noticed when I was listening to it in my earphones. I thought, oh, my earphones are playing up, but it's not. This actually is the way he's done it. That may be deliberate. Well, clearly it is deliberate, but you might see visually why that is the case. I don't know. See, even that motif there, that's in Fury Road as well. But again, it begins to hint at what you've heard before, and then it'll go into its own little sort of sidelines and tributaries. Don't know if you can pick up on that sort of fuzziness there. It isn't the speaker, it isn't, you know, a bad download, it's not that at all. Yeah, this is a download, by the way. I will be getting the CD of it, but this is the download. This is what dropped at midnight, so. Okay, let's move on a bit. This is a track called The Bear. The film's been likened to Ben-Hur and Lawrence of Arabia. Okay. Ideally, I like the idea of both of that. Ben-Hur is a big, epic movie of revenge. It's a huge, classic movie full of action, suspense, and real human drama, and this overriding desire, burning rage for revenge. And Lawrence of Arabia is a vast, sweeping, fantastic epic again, and it was scored by Maurice Jarre, who also scored Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, which is the most avant-garde of the original 3 movies, and certainly the most avant-garde of the soundtracks as well. In fact, I would say, out of all 5 movies so far, Beyond Thunderdome is the most creative and inventive of the scores. I mean, Tom Holkenborg's stuff, I love how he does things. He will play the instruments himself, or he's got someone in to do it. And then, we know he drafts it all into a computer and then feeds it all together with this kind of weirdness. But he does play the instruments. He can play everything. So I like to think that he's been out there with the bull roarer, the didgeridoo, and the doo-duck. He's been doing all this stuff and then just fed it in and mixed it into this highly sort of industrial, gasoline-driven musical engine. So again, even this, and so much of the 70 minutes of this score is a metronomic. So you're building. What are you building to? Oh. So if you're building to an action sequence, and we know there is a 15-minute action sequence. I know what it is, by the way. And it covers some ground as well. With 200 stunt people involved, it took them 78 days to film. Wow. So, well, I think there's a lot more music to the overall score, which we're not getting here. I cannot imagine that George Miller has done a film of this length with quiet moments or lots of quiet moments. He doesn't like that. He likes almost, certainly from Fury Road, as a big shining example, he likes wall-to-wall music. If he's not using dialogue, then, he's got to have something in there to fill the gap. And 70 minutes, there's a lot missing, by my estimation. So I think you'll get an expanded version of this. This is a track called Your Scum. If you don't know if you've seen Chris Hemsworth reading all the tweets about his performance, you shit arse, ugly motherfucker in it, and he's like, yeah, I know, but how's my acting? But you're still sexy, you're still hot, and he's like, hey, he's still made up with himself, like. He's really going OTT. This is a radical departure from Thor, although he does look like Thor. He's like the anti-Thor, big red cape, flowing hair, big beard on him. Still got the muscles, but he's a twat in this one. Where are you going? So full of hope. There is no hope. I'm gonna get that worked out. I'm gonna work on that accent. With my ragged throat, I'll blame the wife for that. Mrs. Kilt-Man, you've ruined my mimicry. Cheers up. So again, you're thinking this is building up to something, and we're going to kick into something like Brothers in Arms or Chapter Doof. No, you won't get that on this score. Which, I'll be honest, I do find a little bit frustrating, because I'm utterly convinced we'll have some blistering action music, which is not on this. But I like it though. There's that relentless sort of, momentum again, and this industrial sound to it. It's metal clanging, crashing, sort of pistons going, steam engines, locomotion, everything is twisting, turning, churning. You do get those blaring bits, which is definitely sadly been influenced by Hans Zimmer and his wang trope. But he did use this in Fury Road as well, and it worked. The whole ethos. This is different from Fury Road and the other Mad Max movies, but vehicles, engines, industry, tribes having to use whatever resources they've got, but it depends on vehicles. You've got to get around. Bullet Town has got to be making bullets, so you've got furnaces and all sorts. Gas Town, you're pumping it, they are refining it, ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. Oh. This is the wives' quarters. So huge melancholy here, and again, this theme is heard, or a variation of it, in Fury Road. But it's like this is the beginning of that theme. Oh, this is more traditional. This is strings, violins, cello. Yeah, there's a huge poignancy there. But we know what will happen. But this is clearly going to be the beginning of how that transpires. Quite why Immortan Joe and his other acolytes, Rictus Erectus, who's back in it, Nathan Jones is back as Rictus, don't see Furiosa as potential wife, bride, mum material. I don't know. But maybe because she clearly serves a more heroic, more, I don't know, aggressive sort of side. She's more valuable to me as a warrior, as she's going to rise up the ranks and become an imperator. And we know you've got Tom Burke in there as well, dressed a little bit like Mad Max, leathers and shoulder pad on. Not as good as this one though. Not as good as this one. Where's this one from? I have told you before, I've done videos on this. This is from the guy that made the original for Mel Gibson, which is you see in Mad Max 2, and the same one is used in Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Fury Road's it's a different plate, it's a different pad, it's much bigger. Ain't the same at all. But he kept that and took moulds from it, and in time for the Fury Road premiere, which I was covering, dressed in the whole regalia, with the South African Defence Force rig, pouches, pants, all sorts, the nebulizers, everything, the big Chris survival knife, and everything. And he had the mold, so he made the exact copies of the Mel Gibson shoulder pad and plate, and also the leather strap which holds underneath. So it's as close as you're ever going to get. But if you watch my video on this jacket and the evolution of Max's costume throughout the movies, you'll also know that despite having 3 other jackets which are perfect, I put this in my mad rush because this only arrived literally on the day of the premiere. And I had to find someone to rivet on because it was big, and you've got to rivet the big machine to rivet these things on. And I told the exciting tale of all of that. But in my haste to get it done and my absolute panic, it went on the wrong jacket. This jacket's great, and now this is my go-to Max jacket. But it is slightly wrong because it has 2 lower pockets, but we won't go into all that. But I've got the jackets which haven't. And I rushed, took this one, and it's boom. I could get this taken up and put on the other one, but me and this jacket have been through our own adventures, so I like this one now. This pad fits this jacket and it works for me now. It's my take on it, so there you go. I mean, for fuck's sake, I wear it with a kilt anyway, So there you go. I'm sure Mel Gibson would approve. The Wig and the Seed, this is called. See again. Bum, 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 bum. You can hear that? It's almost like there's a relentless sort of tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock climb. Now, do you hear that? Wow, 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 wow. That's very, very similar to the sound effects for Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the Philip Kaufman 1978 remake of Body Snatchers. Very similar to the sound effect in that as the pods are taking people over. They did release, or rather Tom Holkenborg released a track called Dementus is Gaining a couple of weeks ago, which I played. That dropped from this album, so it's on this album. I played that, discussed that at length. So let's be saying, so much of this has got like this build up, but most of what you've heard has been sort of just eerie, floaty, ethereal stuff. But deep down, The Wig and the Seed, that's called. That does sound intriguing, that. You know how important seeds are. Metaphorically, the seed for a new generation, but seeds meaning life. The mothers, the last of the mothers, clung on to their bags of seeds, didn't they? Now, the next track is a big one. 8 minutes and 42 seconds. It's called The Stowaway. Now, if you watch the trailers, you will see in all the TV spots, there's that duduk again. Yeah. Or is that a didgeridoo? Just taken down, modulated a bit more? I don't know. But if you watch those trailers and the TV spots, you will see Furiosa underneath the war rig, and there's a chase and a battle taking place. Tom Burke's driving it, they're shooting at it and all sorts, like everyone's riding up alongside, but she's underneath. This track's called The Stowaway. That's her, she's the stowaway. There's bull roarer and there's a didgeridoo in the background. Listen. That's didgeridoo there. It's pushed back, but that's what it is. I mean, there's no wobble boards. I don't think that they're going to bring any kind of Rolf Harris into this. See, I know folks, you're waiting for this big, really exciting set piece, and this album just keeps on doing this. It keeps hinting it, and then it comes down again. I do like that though. So long sustained notes. See? A theme from Fury Road, but like a fledgling version. It's the seeds of what you've heard before. Literally like a gasoline-driven dinosaur. You're still waiting for it, aren't you? You're waiting for like, well, come on now. Are we gonna go for it? And like, I was in bed listening to this as well. Yeah, it was early night. Well, it'd be about 1, maybe half 1 in the morning, and I'm running through this. Mrs. Kilt-Man snoring next to me, and I've got the earphones on, like, and I'm like, no, and I'm rising to no, I'm getting built. No. I'm getting me rhythm. Go no. But I'm getting excited. I'm like, but I'm still waiting for the big action kick in. I've thrown the duvet back so I can leap out and start running around the bedroom. You know. But it never happened. Oh, you do look good, mate. You do. It brings back memories. When I was a little short ass in the Marines. Yeah. It's all build, isn't it? But when are we going to get to that payoff? It's rising. It's, you know, we're on the cusp of like, right, floor it. Bodies cascading everywhere. Where is it? My huskies just turned herself upside down there with all their legs in the air. Is it coming? It isn't just me, is it, folks? You're sensing this drive to like a big Furiosa finale. And it never seems to arrive, does it? We don't seem to get this big crescendo. See, this is the longest track. And like nothing's happened, has it really? Will it now? This reminds me of where you've got the what do you call them, in Fury Road. She's meant to be meeting the bikers in the pass, in the ravine. You know, got all the gasoline here for you, but don't make a noise. You said 1 war party, maybe 2. I count 5 war parties. Yeah, well, I got unlucky, didn't I? Yeah. Fool! And they have to suddenly bug out, and the bike's going after them, and you siege into Brothers in Arms. But this had elements of that suspenseful build-up, and where's it gone? Now that cannot depict the momentum of the movie itself. It simply can't. Because everything I've read, everything I've heard, everything I know is that when the action kicks in, there's lots and lots of action. All of this seems to be the build-up to the action. Oh, here we go. I think they're violins that have been obviously manipulated. It's like... But where are we going? Again, that's an element from Fury Road. So it didn't happen, did it? It didn't happen. It was build, 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 and then... Oh, but maybe it's not over. Well, we go into a track called Fata Morgana. And these are linear tracks. These are following the action of the movie. It isn't in any haphazard sort of way. This is how it goes. So Fata Morgana. Well, I forgot how this goes entirely. It's only a brief track. Someone's died, and I went, oh, woe is me, what happened? Or is it a thing of what was once beauty, and now it's blighted? I don't know. But we're still waiting. This is Gastown. With the people eater. Now he's still alive and he's in it again. I mean, we lost, obviously, Hugh Keysburn, Immortan Joe, but you have got Immortan Joe in this. You lost the guy that plays the Bullet Farmer, and you lost Corpus Colossus. Oh, God. And it would have been great to have seen him again, like, it really would. You have got the lad who's got, I think he's like, what is he, 13, 14, and he's got dwarfism, and the poor lad that's had so much bullying, which is just plain god awful. But he's in this, and you see him in the trailers. It's one of the shots in which I had to agree with the people who were naysayers about all the trailers. Too much CG, looks like a cartoon. Well, it's like the shot of him in the last trailer. Was bad. It looked unfinished. It did look like a cartoon, and like I had to say, well, yeah, that's not gonna redeem the look of this movie in the haters' eyes. And in fact, most reviews I've seen, they talk about the CG and they say the CG's fantastic, it's great, but there still are little moments which kind of draw attention to themselves. But you just accept it, it's the way it is. Every film is CG. You're going to notice it. It's Gastown again. And as I keep on saying, George Miller uses CG to smooth out. He takes out the frames and apparatus for the stunt people who are being flung around. He creates the big landscapes and the backdrops. But the stunts and the vehicles flying everywhere, they're real people and real vehicles really flying, really everywhere. Okay, need to move on a bit. This is a noble cause. And like, from that title you're thinking, yeah, this is going to be a... Where's all the build-up I kept banging on about, you know? Or they're just... Trust me, when you play the whole thing to yourself without me yakking over it, you will get a lot of that. I'm going to say right now, this score on this album presentation is the slowest, most elegiac of all the Mad Max scores. You go back to the first two, Brian May, 1979. His score for that Mad Max movie is absolutely amazing. Some of it even plays like a horror score. It's brilliant. It's exciting, it's thunderous, it's got loads of great thematic qualities to it. Then you go to the well, I'm going to use the word again, elegiac for Mad Max 2. It's portentous, it's ominous, it talks about the end of the world and this. You can't get more haunting or pretentious than this, to be honest. But the Duduk again. But Mad Max 2 also has high octane action and suspense cues and great big build-ups and really dynamic action. You've got to try and get... You can't get the full score for Mad Max 2. They lost the tapes. The tapes were destroyed. Damn it. Someone out there should do a reconstruction of what Brian May created for the full score. I have the full score, but you've really got to do some digging around to find that. Oh, here we go. It's variation. I do like this stuff though, I do. But I think there's been a huge element of the actual full score which has been kept back from us by this. If I'm wrong, and I could well be wrong, maybe elements of it play without music, it's just the sound of vehicles and screaming and, you know, explosions and stuff, I don't know. I do like this as a musical trope. And you can tell, like, obviously something, you know, surreptitious is taking place. But again, it's build up, isn't it? But what's it building to? That will go on. Let's go to the Bullet Farm. I think this is the second longest track. At 6 minutes and 55 seconds. Now we know a lot happened to the Bullet Farm. I've seen a lot of footage from here. And it's been in the trailers a lot as well. I see it's almost like, so like, you know, scratching nails on old wrought iron. You've got that fuzzy element again. Fuzzy element and a buzzy fly. Jeff Goldblum has entered the room, folks. It is summertime. Let's move on a bit. You see, so much of this... Oh, hang on. Okay. You see, so much of this is dark underscore, brooding, apprehensive stuff. And then quite clearly... you are building into the big final, well, finale of action, chase and destruction. There's an element of, you know, sweet glory there. Yeah, glory. Those who know, know. But it's in earnest as well. Again, I don't know if you heard that, but right there, deeply recessed, was the didgeridoo. Was in there. I kind of wish you'd bring that more to the fore. there's voices as well. There's a choral element to some of these tracks. See, I like weird sound effects like that. Almost like it's a prehistoric klaxon, prehistoric alarm. Yes, I'm almost 55 years old and I'm sitting in a chair in a Mad Max leather jacket, drinking whiskey and making noises. And I've been skitting him. Again, you've got this rising, sustained pitch. It's just like, it's build. But when are we going to get the actual, let's just go for it? You can tell I can't drive a vehicle, because I do that. Let's just see how far I get down the Fury Road. He's weaving all over the place. What's wrong with him? I think he's been drinking whiskey. Ooh, I feel sick. Tom, this is great, but it's not getting us anywhere. We're not arriving at any, musical destination. There is a name that comes up as well alongside Tom Holkenborg'S on two tracks, William Barton. Now, William Barton comes up in the first track, which has a vocal on it, but he doesn't come up at the end, so it can't be him. He can't be doing the vocals for the sort of narration. He must be part of the musical side of things, but I don't know what. Is he the didgeridoo guy? See, it's fucking rising up, you can't really get much higher. So you've got to be, I don't know. The film does not do that, by the way. It does not lead you in a direction and not give you a payoff. It does every time. In fact, one of the complaints I did see about it in someone's review was a critic's review. I forget who it was now. They said it's just, I couldn't take much more of it. It was just chase, fight, explosions, chase, fight, explosions. And after, a while, you can't take much more. But oh my God, there's another 2 hours of this. Sounds perfect to me. This is the track previously released, which I've covered. This is Dementus' Gaining. Now, I've been through this before. Again, it's build up, with a brief action sequence. Which is a variation on the escape theme from Fury Road, right near the start of Fury Road. And that is deliberately warped and fuzzed up. I do love that as well. Again, sort of industrial dinosaur sound effect. But it's also like gunning some mad engine. What? Stop. Oh. He's saying, grow up, stop making your own sound effects. You're lucky to still be here. Yeah, the fuzziness there. It's got to be deliberate, that. Got to be. Now, you have a track here. I'm going to whiz on. Again, it clearly bleeds out of the last track, doesn't it? Dementis' diatribe. What's a diatribe? It's a rant, basically. It's gone dark in here. As regular viewers know, if I do a recording sort of from mid-morning to mid-afternoon, the sun is, it's summertime, the sun is playing havoc. I need blackout curtains, don't I? There's a sort of cathedral effect there, or almost like an organ. You're not hearing an organ, but it's got that kind of like sonority and sense of a cathedral like depth. There is stuff happening here. Dementis' diatribe. It's kind of an icy, prickling evil. It's almost like it's his final, you know, like, ah. Maybe like John Doe in Seven is, yeah, he didn't know. So I took a souvenir. Pretty head, you know. What's in the box, you know? It's almost like this is his sort of like, you know, yeah, you think you've got me, but I have commanded legions, I've done this, I've done that. I'm making this whole fucking thing up, by the way. But it was a nice icy sort of, whoa, yeah, you ain't got me. You got it in you to be epic. Lady and gentlemen, start your engines. Oh, I gave that went cockney. Start your engines. Apples and pears, apples and pears. Fucking hell. I'm going to work on that. I bet you're enjoying this music though. I mean, some of you won't be, because I know some of you who hate this style of, you know, highly synthesized, you know, highly produced, got into a machine. All of the instruments were there, but like Hans Zimmer gets the best musicians in the world. Oh God, for like the likes of Dark Knight Rises and for Black Hawk Down, it gets the best, most exotic, you know, Aboriginal and indigenous native instruments the world's ever known, and gets the best practitioner of those instruments sit in the room and just thrash them out, and he records it, and like, oh, it's brilliant, and it sounds amazing. I've seen these recordings take place, and then he puts it into a fucking computer and just synthesizes the whole thing, and you're like, what was the point? Why did you get them all to arrive and sit together, which is great, and then just record it and then synthesize it? They could have done sat at home or in their little tribal tent and done it there, and you could have recorded it from there. They could have sent it to you. It's like overkill. And then, well, at the end of the day, we're not even going to use the live recording. I'm going to put it in the machine. Now, I know Holkenborg does the same thing. I know, that's what he does. But by and large, I like what he's done. I like the sound he comes up with. But there are, without a doubt, elements here where you've got some great instrumentation which has been pumped into a computer and then manipulated But he set in motion the soundscape for these new Mad Max movies with Fury Road, and I do love that score. But it does have emotion. It has the adrenaline, it has the excitement, but it has the emotion as well. This score is several notches below Fury Road, and I am massively surprised by that. Nothing in this, no track here am I going like, oh, I've got to come back to that again and again and again. But I do for Fury Road. But you've got to see the film. If it fits the film, then you can't complain. It's got to fit the movie. But I can't get my head around the fact I know the film has tons and tons of action and high tension and suspense. Well, we can hear the high tension and suspense and the long drawn out moments before the storm. But we're not hearing the stormy elements. Well, I think we've gone through the most of the tracks and gone through the houses with this. As I say, I'm not going to play you the final track because the voiceover there definitely does give something away. It doesn't tell you directly, but if you've got any marbles up there rubbing together, you'll suss on exactly what it is. Okay. Right. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I made a really fantastic chicken curry last night. Oh my god, I put everything in there. But this morning, oh yeah. So, I've not been giving a lot of the track titles here, have I? Or have I? I don't think I have. The last track was called At the Dawn of War. This is called The Darkest of Gods. And this is a good 5.5 minutes as well. But is it going to go anywhere? This is clearly well, pretty much the end. Nice growly, throaty bit of electronic synthesized roaring there. Again, there's a slight variation, but it still is. However you do it, whatever speed you do with that, whether you put an extra little. Okay, there's something happening here. Again, you can hear from Fury Road, but it's like a folded down, sort of younger version. And that is again, you're like, are we going to get something now? Well, this is Chapter Doof. This is a much sort of baby version of Chapter Doof. So far without the wildness. Oh, it's coming in. It took a long time to fucking get here. Well, it's more escape than chapter 2. Come on, we're on the edge of our seat, come on. Really? Really? Folks, I know I sound like I'm really knackering this score. I don't mean to. The score is what is required for the film. If it's serving the film, brilliant. I'm struggling in my own little silly whiskey-addled brain to reconcile what I'm hearing from this and a relentless build-up and no payoff with what the film does deliver. How does that work? I'm not sure. I can't work it out. I won't know for another week. It comes out exactly a week today, officially. Hang on, is it? Let me just check. Or is it last night? Is there a midnight showing? Well, the 24th is a week today. I'll be seeing the first possible showing because, you know, the people in charge didn't bother inviting uber Mad Max fan Kilt-Man to Cannes to watch it or send me a screener. No. Some people have got screeners. I know for a fact. Jammy bastards. Okay, I can't. That's it now. I cannot play you that last track. I won't do it because it would give too much away, I think. So I'll play the first track, which I didn't play at the start. The Pole of Inaccessibility. Now this other composer, it comes up as William Barton, is involved in this. That's what my itinerary, my details are telling me. So this is your first track, The Pole of Inaccessibility. Top of Liso Road in Wallasey Village, right? When I was growing up, there's a big roundabout there. I grew up in the house right at the top of Liso Road. My mum and dad, big kilt papa, big kilt mama, my two brothers, my sister, and we had the biggest New Year's Eve parties you could imagine. 80 to 120, 150 people would pile in. Food, music, boom, 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 boom. And it was great. I was only a kid, but I used to watch my two brothers. When midnight, you know, there's 12 bells again. When midnight came out, when it came out of the closet, I'm midnight and I'm gay. The big roundabout, the big dual carriageway, and roads coming at the top like that from two different directions, and one going up a hill, but the big mad dual carriageway. And we'd all be there, we'd dance round the roundabout, and everyone from every other house and from different areas as the years went by. Oh, the McEneanys, the Kilt-Man clan, they have the big parties. Let's all be waiting for them. And when they come out, we'll all join in and all try to bum back into our parties. As many did. As I grew a bit older, that was great because the women, oh my God, it was phenomenal. But what I'm getting to, this title, The Pole of Inaccessibility. There was a great big, 40-foot lamppost in the middle, concrete lamppost in the middle of that roundabout. The police would even come down and join in. They'd stop their cars and they'd join in. They'd dance around the roundabout with all of us. But my two brothers pioneered this thing where you have to try to climb the lamppost. Neither of them could do it. My brother Paul, who was ex-RAF, he was pretty good at it actually. He's actually shorter than me, which is hard to imagine because I'm pure hobbit sized. He got so far, maybe 18 feet. And then, you couldn't slide back down it because you pissed as a fart. And if anyone knows about coming down a rope the wrong way, and this is concrete, and it's got 4 corners on it as well. It ain't the best to come shinnying back down, sliding back down. So you have to throw yourself off it and land. Luckily, it's on grass. And so he'd get like 18 foot. He couldn't do it. My brother Steve, he couldn't get that far. He's a little beanpole. He couldn't do it. He's tall, but he's like Ichabod Crane, and he just couldn't do it. And he'd get about 5 or 6 feet, and that was it. He called it a day. My sister would have a go as well. She didn't get much further. But other people would begin to try, and no one really got anywhere. Now, as I got older, when this kicked off, I'd be about 7, 8, 9 years old. But as the thing wore on, I was getting bigger. I was getting better. I was doing weights. I was, 10 years old. Now, I would be something like, 13, and my mates were there as well now. So like, go on. And I was known as Mad Mac. I was known as, because of Mad Max. I was a massive fan of Mad Max. Anyway, so I'll have a go at this. I wasn't wearing a kilt, obviously, back in them days. And the things that the lamppost starts off it's quite wide, it's square, ka-junk, bingo. So to get your legs around it, you've got to leap up, and it's sort of, it's a curved bit, say about, off the floor here, which is probably about, it's probably about 4 foot, because I'm not much taller than that. Get that, you've got a leg boost, so you can spring yourself, and then it goes round. It ain't square, it goes round after that. And that's actually, bizarrely enough, easy to wrap yourself around and get your feet around it. And like you would with a rope or climbing a tree, your legs do all the work. Just keep your feet together and lean back down, lean up, bring your feet up. As long as you've got your hands around it, you're going to climb that. Now, I learned that quite naturally. I did not get to the top of it. I did not get to the top. Why? Because I was a little bit drunk, and I looked around, and suddenly I could see there's Liverpool. There's Wales. My God, there's Blackpool and the lakes. Oh my God. Everyone below me was like little ants. And I was like, ah. I know there was a copper there who was going like, that lad's in trouble. Come on, son, come on down. And there were loads of, my mates were there, and there were loads of girls as well. And I was trying to impress a certain lady. And oh my God, that descends from hell into even helliness. I tried to come back down, and I made the mistake of unhooking my feet, which you do it on a rope. You're going to slide down that rope, and you're going to rip your hands to shreds. Marines did a lot of rope climbing and stuff, and Tarzan assault course. Did a lot of that, and not abseiling, going up mountains and cliff faces and coming back down them again. A lot of rope work. It's commando skills. But I didn't know any of them at the time. And like, my feet unhooked, and and I began to rip, but then threw myself off it. Who did I land on? Nobody. I landed in the fucking bushes, didn't I? Because what I didn't mention, there was all flower beds. Now, it was New Year's Eve, so a lot of flowers have all wilted, they've all gone, but the bushes and the branches and the roses, all their stems and their thorns are still there. And I tell you what, they're still there in my arse, because I landed straight into this. It did cushion the landing, but my God, was I eviscerated with a big sore arse as well, like. And then, but there were certain young ladies who were very young ladies, my age ladies, who thought, what a hero. But the name Mad Mac, for me, was born out. That guy's a madman. He's fucking mad, him. Look at him, he's fucking mad. I got further than me brothers. Oh, the risk of being really boring, as the further years went by, we stopped having the parties, and other people would take over and try to do this thing, and no one ever did it. It was kiboshed. And then the police, who were having so much fun with our parties, began to turn, no, we'll have none of this. It's antisocial behaviour. Just go back in and sing Auld Lang Syne. That'll do fine. So all of the heyday died out, I'd say about 83, 3 at the latest. Anyway, let's get back on. So this is called the Pole of Inaccessibility. That's what reminded me of this Pole of Inaccessibility. It wasn't a random memory there. Okay. You've got that fuzziness here as well. I'm not sure I like that.
As the world falls around us, how must we brave its cruelties?
Was that it? I thought there was more to that. See what I did there? With that whole story beforehand, I built up what you thought you were going to hear with that. And it was a letdown, wasn't it? No, I genuinely thought there was more to it than that. He does speak later on in that final track, which I'm not going to play for you. Oh, fuck it, yes I am. I'm going to listen. I'm pretty certain most of you turned off in the first 5 minutes, but this is the end of the track anyway. Didgeridoo. That was a didgeridoo there. It wasn't a didgeridoo, it was a didgeridoo. Okay, right. I said I wouldn't do this, but fuck it, who cares? I know what it alludes.
His voice, and they spent the rest of the day in silence. There are those who prefer that she did more than shoot him. They claim that she ended him in ways more fitting. They tell of righteous perversities and witty mutilations. But this is the truth, whispered to me by Furiosa herself. Deep in the citadel, high up in the hydroponic gardens, there is a tree unlike any other. Its soil is human. Its nutrients human. Maggots debriding his necrotic flesh. It was an echo growing out of a living being.
Little hints of Lovecraft there as well, if you think about it. Right, folks, that was a rather epic journey through the soundtrack to Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga. And we're going to finish, as most of you would have guessed, with the Magnificent Seven. No, we're not. Brothers in Arms from Fury Road. I've played it so often, but this is exactly what almost all of those tracks on the official release of Furiosa score seems to be building up to, and yet doesn't give us at all, ever. In a way, again, I keep saying, you can hear the themes from this in Furiosa. Like, it's evolving into what we already know. Because if that's the end, you can't be bigger than the end. You can't. In George Miller's mind, no, this will be big and ridiculous and OTT, but it's not going to beat or top what I did before, because that's the finale. So I kind of get that. I love the fact that Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron didn't get on, because it gives bite to their on-screen chemistry, their distrust of each other. Drums and then bang, bang, bang. Wow. No, 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 no. But this, when the actual proper theme kicks in, oh, it's so fantastic. And again, it's the strings that bring it in. Earnest quality to it. I love that. It isn't just pure bombast and heroism like Corn Gold would do. You know, it's. We know these people are all doomed. They're all going to be hurt beyond belief. It's when the strings come in, they start reaching. Like, is it conch shells in there as well? That was coconuts I was doing there. Not conch shells. Coconuts. It's beautiful, that. The combination. Strings and the pugilistic, drums and percussion and the industrial sound. And the two of them, Furiosa and Mad Max, having to work together. And then we'll begin again. Fury Road. Oh, Jesus. Fucking awesome movie. Again, this is the earnest quality to it. Nothing, strings. You can put strings with anything, and it brings the heart and the emotion into any kind of bit of music, any kind of sequence. High octane, pure violence. Bring them in, and you're like, it's perfection. And if you're still here, we'll go for Let Them Up. Come on, we always do. I always end on this. We're going to the Mad Max stuff from the new Mad Max movies. Now, there's nothing of this power in the score I heard, or you heard before, for Furiosa. This track, this culmination. But this is the end of, well, of the story we're ever going to get of Furiosa. This movie is all leading up to this, so this is the finale, this is the payoff. Arm gone, eye ripped up, been stabbed in the blood transfusion in transit. But she's the new heir to the Citadel. This is just gorgeous, this. And the sun comes out again. It's gorgeous. Choral element isn't domineering, it's just enough to get you. And then this bit, when they get their final payoff, looks, she's all like that. And he's just like, goes off into the crowd, doing the little Hobbit mischievous send off. It goes up. I still mistimed it. Folks, I've been watching Kilt-Man. Please, in the meantime, as ever, let's talk about the Wasteland in between time. Please keep it kilted, keep it Celtic, and I'm going to see you all. Yeah, you know the rest. Laters. This was a longer video than I expected it to be. I do apologise. He's dressed up for another video, which is coming hopefully later. It will be coming soon. But I've got to go out with the dog in the sunshine. And do I wear the jacket? It's too fucking hot. It's too hot, you know. Leathers in the sun. Unless you're riding a motorbike, you need it because of the wind and all that sort of stuff. But it's baking hot out there right now. So I'll be ditching all this. Skimpiest vest, shortest kilt. Not a good idea. I got ripped under this armpit yesterday, which is already badly scarred from something. And but I was cutting the grass with shears because the grass was so high. And it took ages to bring it down to a manageable length to mow. And but again, talking about like falling off the lamppost into, you know, the knackered, withered old but still thorny rose bushes. I did the same thing, didn't I? There's all thorns and weird things out there, and I was just bending down. I caught myself, and as I pulled away, it ripped, and I'm like, ah! And it's a big, nice, deep slice into a scar that's already there. And it fucking poured in. Oh, Christ. But like, unlike John Rambo, I didn't sit there and like stitch myself up. I came running back into Mrs. Kilt-Man going, Achoo, thanks for the cold you gave me. Bitch. We're out of here. We'll reconvene at the Bullet Farm.